On behalf of IEEE MNIT student branch, I, Vivek Rajput, take this privilege to welcome you all. I appreciate your presence from the core of my heart. Today, we gather here to celebrate IEEE Day through a PPT presentation competition on the theme, Leveraging Technology for Better Tomorrow. IEEE, the world's largest technical professional organization, was founded in 1884 with a mission to foster technology innovation for the benefit of humanity. Today, in 160 countries, there are more than 80,000 student members. A student branch gives students the opportunity to meet and learn from fellow students and professionals in the field. IEEE student branch are established at over 1,500 universities and colleges throughout the world. Student branch activities offers numerous educational, technical, and professional advantages of IEEE membership through special projects, activities, meeting, tours, and field trips. IEEE MNIT is a vibrant student branch. Currently, we have 8 active societies and over 60 student members. Collaboration, inclusive excellence, and collective efforts made IEEE MNIT student branch to reach a new height in terms of events and number of student members. Dear participants, before start, there are few instructions which you all need to follow during your presentation. Each participant is allowed to present their slide within 7 minutes. 5 minutes for presentation and 2 minutes for queries and question answer. The online presentation will be in audio only mode. Presenters are allowed to share their slides, so please do not turn on your video. The presentation are reviewed by a panel of judges in 5 categories. Those categories are relevance of problem statement, novelty in proposed solution, organization and preparation of slides, quality of presentation, and question answer session. The result of competition will announce within a week. Now, I would like to invite our IEEE volunteer, Mr. Kumar Mohit, to introduce the panel of judges to us. Over to Kumar. Mohit.
Thank you, sir. Good evening to all. Today, celebration of IEEE Day is the 10th year celebrating this historic event. This year, IEEE Day activities are to be held virtually. IEEE Day commemorates the anniversary of the meeting in Philadelphia in 1884 when members of the American Institute of Electrical Engineers, one of the IEEE's 2 predecessors societies, gathered for the first time to share technical ideas. Today, we IEEE MNIT student branch are organizing a PowerPoint presentation competition on the theme Leveraging Technology for Better Tomorrow. To judge the presentation competition, we have a panel of distinguished guests. Dr. Prabhakar Tiwari sir, he is Associate Professor in Madan Mohan Malviya University of Technology, Gorakhpur. He is Senior IEEE Member, Secretary of IEEE UP Section and Chairman of IEEE Program Committee. Dr. Mayank Pandey sir, he is Associate Professor in Computer Science Department of MNIT Allahabad. He is Counselor of IEEE MNIT Student Branch and Resource Person for this event. Dr. Anand Sharma sir, he is Assistant Professor in ECE Department of MNIT Allahabad. Dr. Shashwat Pathak sir, he is Managing Director of Electro Curie Tech Private Limited. He is also alumni of our institute. Dr. V.S. Tripathi sir, he is Professor in ECE Department of MNIT Allahabad. He is currently serving as advisor of IEEE MTT and AP societies. Without taking further any time, I would like to call Ms. Artika Srivastava to start this competition officially by her presentation. Ms. Artika, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes, Artika, you are.
Okay.
Please do share your PPT first.
Yes, sir. Is it visible, sir? Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Artika Srivastava, and my topic for today is biosensors, frontiers in rapid detection of COVID-19. So to begin with, looking at this picture, what comes first in your mind? Yeah, you're right, lockdown. Yeah, we have been through this situation for like past 6 months now, And this is the new normal that we are dealing with today. The rapid onset of coronavirus has brought an urge to detect sensors. You can say for an urge to develop modern biosensors. As we all know that SARS-CoV-2, that is the name of coronavirus, has an incubation period of 2 to 7 days, and it's very important for the virus to get detected within that period of time, so that it's being contagious, it can be prevented from being spread from person to person. The currently used techniques for biosensors are quite time consuming and labor intensive. Let me quickly explain you how does a biosensor works. So basically we take a sample in the form of an analyte, and the analyte can be any DNA, RNA, proteins, or any antibodies generated by the patient. And then there is some sort of interaction between a biological interaction, you can say, between the analyte and the receptor. And the kind of interaction is being converted or transduced into any form of detector, it light, electrical change, or heat change or mass change. And based on that, there are different types of sensors available. The signal generated is further signal conditioned by various circuits, and then we detect a signal. The limitations for current sensors that are available, or the technologies used for current sensors, are they are quite less accurate and less sensitive. The amount of sample that it requires for being tested and the time they consume, the accessories and maintenance cost, and further the complex operation of instruments, and they are not suitable for mass, you can say, on-site analysis. So what uh, current searches are going on is based on this SPR technology. It is a technology used in basically optical sensors, that is surface plasmon resonance. What happens is, as you can see, there is this structure having a glass prism, a metal over it, a noble metal, and then there is the aqueous solution for detection. A light is incident on the sense on the interactive media between the metal and the dielectric, and surface plasmons are generated, and the detection between analyte and this interaction is, you can say, measured as this dip in the reflectivity curve, as you can see on the right hand side. So this is the basic, you can say, technology that is used nowadays. And what is proposed is an enhanced version of that surface plasmon resonance, namely photonic spin Hall effect. What happens in photonic spin Hall effect is kind of a spin orbit interaction takes place between the incident light. The incident light is split up into two of its components, the horizontal and vertical polarized components, and there is a shift seen that is measured or that is used as a parameter for detection. These photonic spin Hall effect based sensors are quite better sensitive, they are less time consuming, and they work on small amount of sample, and they provide easy and direct detection. Here you can see there is a structural representation of PSHE photonic spin Hall effect based sensor. As you can see, the light having both yellow and blue, you can say both type of components in the incident light, and when reflected from a metal dielectric interface, they undergo a separation between the two components, and this shift is measured and taken as a parameter for detection. Greater the amount of shift, higher is the sensitivity of the sensor, and we basically detect a change in the refractive index for sensing. Suppose you can say there is a normal human cell and there is a virus infected human cell, then the kind of shift they are going to produce is going to be different, and that's how we are going to detect the sensing. Finally, concluding, I can say that the traditional techniques are quite time consuming, and they might not fulfill the new challenges such as rapid mutations, being contagious, and mass populations. Sensors are mostly based on detecting virus, surface proteins, and internal genetic material using DNA and RNA. So, in the near future, emerging technologies such as strips and electrochemical sensors, optical biosensors are explored. And among that, PSHE and surface plasmon based innovative platforms could pave the efficient ways of rapid, highly sensitive, and more promising biosensing. Thank you.
Okay, Artika, my question is, uh, since for detection of disease, one of the important parameter is how quickly you are able to detect it. So, as you are proposing that with this technique, you are actually gazing different polarization of lights, which is incident, and you are separating it into vertical and horizontal components, and you are analyzing fine. So, in case of COVID-19, what happens that the virus goes inside and it infects the lungs, and there is a breathing period of virus. So you haven't talked about in these slides, I could not find that how fast these sensors will be able to detect and the medical intervention can start.
Uh, yes, sir. There is no as such research in that domain. Basically, there is the what's the main focus is the sensitivity, as how sensitive these are. Depending on that, it how they are accurate. That's what the basic parameter that is being researched on.
Okay.
Deepika?
Yes, sir.
Hello,
Hello.
I'm out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Uh, a question. In your slide, the refractive index with the shift in your graph. What is the relation between refractive index and the shift in graph?
So
In the slide,
basically, there is a yes, sir.
mhm.
Basically, there is a mathematical, you can say, measurement formula called quantum
Yes,
measurements.
yes,
And
yes, yes.
yes, sir. So basically, there is a mathematical formula based on quantum weak measurements to detect these kind of
Hmm.
shifts based on change of refractive index. So the relation is basically the angle at which the light is incident, and at a particular angle, a maximum amount of shift is seen. And
Okay.
comparing these with
By
two,
Snell law.
yes, sir, and comparing these shifts on two refractive indexes is what we are going to use. Like suppose there is a
Okay.
refractive index of 1.33, so we are going to observe the
Mm-hmm.
shift at that refractive index, and then a small
Mm-hmm.
amount of shift of another refractive index of 1.335, you can say. Then we are going to
Okay.
observe the shift on that particular refractive index, and based on that we are going to sense.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Any other query from the judges side?
No question.
Fine from my side.
Okay. Now, Africa, you can unshare your PPT. The next presenter is Keshav Mathur. Please be ready with your slides, Keshav.
Yes, sir.
Artika, please remove your slides.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Is my screen visible, sir?
Yes, Keshav.
Yes, it's visible.
Shall I start?
Yes, Keshav, you can start.
Okay. A very good evening to all the respected dignitaries. My name is Keshav Mathur, and I am pursuing MTech in Communication Systems from Motilal Nehru National Institute of Technology. Now, today on the occasion of IEEE Day, I am here to present on the theme Leveraging Technology for a Better Tomorrow with my topic of presentation, Tackling Traffic Congestion with Movable Dividers. My presentation is divided as the problem assessment, its explanation, and the solution. Now, starting with the problem assessment, traffic congestion is a major problem in metropolitan cities in India, and we all have faced it. The major direct problems that this congestion causes are the delay in emergency services, the wastage of fuel, spike in pollution level in that area, and the chaos and road rages that it makes. Now, the emergency services are first the ambulance, the firefighters, the police, and the rescue services. Taking on them, the delay in emergency services. Now, emergency services like ambulance, fire brigade, police vehicles are often delayed due to traffic congestion. According to Times of India, 30% deaths are caused by ambulance delay, and more than 50% heart attack cases reach hospital late because of ambulances stuck in traffic. Now, today imagine that in the current times when COVID cases are still on rise and the nationwide lockdown unlock is underway, smooth supply and emergency services are the need of the hour, but we cannot provide them. Taking on the second thing, the firefighters. Narrow lanes and traffic jams cause spread in a Maya fire, making it lethal. A recent accident on August 26, 2020, a minor fire in Ludhiana Sundarnagar escalated and burned down factories altogether. Emergency services stuck in traffic is a normal sight nowadays, with horns and sirens going off with nowhere for cars to move. As we can see in the photo here, the fire brigade is stuck in the traffic with rallies of car behind and in front of it, with no way for it to move. A little delay can cause a lot damage. Now, the third problem is that the fuel, which is becoming a scarce resource today, where we are finding alternative solutions, is burned without any use in traffic. People standing in traffic with the hopes that their cars or vehicles will move do not switch off the engines, which increases the pollution as well as it decreases the fuel. Now we can imagine that since we are all employees and students, the staff or employees who get stuck in traffic and are getting late for their offices end up in road rages and accidents due to rushing. We all have experienced that. Simple solution that we can provide is the movable dividers. Dividers are the blocks that divide
Keshav, I think your voice is not coming.
There is some issue with him, I think.
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
Keshav, if I'm audible to you. Keshav.
You are not audible.
Keshav.
I think
We can message him separately, and we should proceed to next speaker.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Next speaker is Komal Srivastav. Please be ready with your presentation, and I'm going to message Mr. Keshav so that
Yes.
he can remove his presentation.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. I'm ready.
There must be some network issue at Keshav.
Sir, is my screen visible?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I think you should start your presentation.
Okay, sir. Good evening, panel of judges, all IEEE members, and my dear participants, other participants. I am Komal Srivastav from MNIT Allahabad, going to present today a PPT on 5G. 5G, a latest buzzword that is going on these days because we are trending towards a new environment, a new technology major change where we are going to witness witness a more comfortable environment of communication. So my problem statement here is actually in the past years we have been seeing that there has exponential growth of telecom users, and there has been an extending reach of mobile broadband requirement in the village areas, in the outskirt areas of the cities. But all these facilities were not able to be provided to the users, as well as there were some new technologies that were entering into the safety of the traffic, or health or security purposes. New technologies were being found out by the researchers, but due to data shortage or due to speed problems, latency problems, we were not able to implement it. Along with that, as you know, that COVID is in high struck these days. So due to the work structure that is turning into a digital mode, we need a faster mode of communication. So this is a problem statement that has been leading us to the need of 5G, or a faster mode of communication, a faster wireless communication environment. So existing infrastructure that we had was developing from analog to digital to CDMA 2000, and then finally we led to LTE. LTE satisfied us a lot with a faster communication, with the presence of little bit of IoT, as well as there was AR and VR foundations going on. But it was not totally applicable. IoT, AR, and VR were not totally applicable with 4G LTE. So the dire need of 5G came into existence. Along with that, a massive cellular network structure architecture was there, but the range of availability of service was very limited. That was making us use of more base stations, and definitely due to there was call drops and low data speed, high latency. So these problems were faced due to the network architecture. A limited bandwidth was there, and many diverse ideas were being applicable by the researchers, as I've told you, but they were not practically implemented due to the absence of a lot of factors and drawbacks of the previous environments. So we fast forwarded ourselves to future with the help of 5G. How 5G fast forwarded us was there was an enhanced mobile. Now there will be enhanced mobile broadband. There will be high reliability in the communication perspective, in the connection perspective, and there will be a comparatively low latency when you compare it with the former ones. And mission critical communications, some critical communication. When I told you we need a smarter railway communication network, a smarter road communication network. So when it comes to critical communication, 5G is very much friendly. Massive IoT applications has been a dire need of us, of our present generation. So with the help of 5G, IoT will be a lot applicable, around 50 to 60% applicable. And improving accessibility, that means to the outer regions, we'll be able to provide with the help of RAN facility, a RAN facility, a RAN architecture that has been provided with the help of 5G. The major changes in the network architecture that was provided with the help of 5G, it has been massive MIMO system. MIMO system is an antenna system, which is multiple input, multiple output system, which has helped in improving the reliability of the architecture, low latency, and a new spectrum of frequency bands have been implemented in 5G, which is the millimeter wave and sub 6 gigahertz frequency. Both of them work simultaneously along with 4G LTE to provide us with a very broad spectrum, and that helps us to provide us with a good data speed. And there, as I told you, there is independent and autonomous RAN, which helps us to provide a wider range of communication. There are smaller cells and pico cells, which helps in better communication, fewer call drops, and beamforming techniques also helps us in a more focused, in a higher speed of communication, because beamforming helps us to target a particular user which needs a higher communication speed. Some latest hardware and software changes have also been done because this is a need of the 5G communication. It has been one of the disadvantage as well, because a major change has to be made in the hardware now, and users have to change their hardware services. Ideas finally are being implemented with the help of 5G. There is 10 to 100 fold increase in the users as well as the speed of the system. There is application of augmented reality and virtual reality. It is a very friendly device for AR and VR both. Autonomous driving is possible, like I've told you. For critical communications, 5G is quite friendly. Beamforming has been it's not being totally successful, but we are moving towards it. And better safety and health methods are now in the world, like we are dreaming and we are seeing that these methods will be implemented, the safety methods when it comes to railway and road communication, and the health methods that are required in the medical perspective. These can be successfully implemented with the low latency and high speed features of 5G. So the conclusion of my PPT is 5G is a next generation communication technology. It is going to help us to build up a faster method of communication, which is more reliable, having low latency. It will actually help us to implement a lot of ideas which has been coming up from the researchers for a lot of time back. And the package on the whole comes up with a lot of hurdles as well. So like I've told you, the initial hurdle is the biggest hurdle is the hardware devices requirement. A major change has to be made. A major production will be done by all the companies, hardware companies. So initial cost of implementation will be very high. Obstructions, the physical obstructions can impact the connectivity, as sub 6 gigahertz and millimeter wave is a very high frequency wave. So physical obstruction will actually try to hamper the connectivity problem. So researchers are working towards it, and antennas are being designed to overcome this disability. And limitations of the rural access has also been there, so implementation of more base stations will be required in those areas. So these are these are some of the major hurdles that we'll face when we implement 5G. But still, researchers are still working, and I hope so 5G will turn up with a very successful implementation in future. So so these are the references, and thank you, sir. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes, sir. Sir, any questions?
Yeah, Komal, one question from my side.
Yes, sir.
Just please elaborate the relationship between IoT and 5G, whatever you were talking about.
Yes, sir. Sir, IoT as actually let me take an example, sir. IoT has been very much applicable in the smart home system. Okay, sir. So where many devices are being communicated, and those like sir, if I am trying to communicate with one of my devices in my home, okay, and it is communicated with the help of internet. So the internet speed, the low latency speed will help me to access the device at my home with
Komal,
much yes, sir.
Komal,
Yes, sir.
inside the home, I can very well communicate among IoT devices using a Wi-Fi network.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, I'm talking like, sir, if you are like reaching your home at 8 o'clock and you are 15 minutes far away from your home and you want to switch on a device. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
sir, like an AC, an air conditioner, you want to switch it on at like, so there is proper cooling in your home when you reach at 8
Mm-hmm.
o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So for that, you will be needing an internet connectivity.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, sir. So IoT is applicable,
So, how
actually
much
reaching
data
up to
you
that.
think to switch on something? How much data and bandwidth you need, which 4G cannot do and 5G is essential?
Sir, sorry, sir, I don't have much knowledge over it.
No problem. I just wanted to check. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you, sir.
Hello, Komal.
Actually,
Sir,
yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Komal, I want to ask you about the. You are talking about the low latency.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
what are the techniques to get the low latency? What techniques you have used in 5G communication system in order to get the low latency?
Uh,
What is latency?
Sir, first of all, latency is actually, sir, the time lag, basically. Like
Yes.
when we order like a device to perform, but from the time of instruction has been given and to the time when it has started actually performing. So that time lag is actually the latency.
So, how can you know this value? Latency value for 5G communication, because it is an important thing. It is important characteristic of a 5G communication.
Yes, sir. It's one of the important factors actually for 5G. Sir, MIMO antennas can be very helpful, sir. Sir, sir, exact answers I'm not getting, sir, but sir, MIMO antennas can be
Okay.
friendly for low
Okay.
latency, and sir, even sir, beam forming technique, sir. Like, sir, if
Mhm.
you are aiming to a particular user and you are giving it like full bandwidth, sir, if other users around him is not using, so if you are with the help of beam forming technique, if you are giving him the full bandwidth, so latency will be low, a little lower, sir.
Okay. Okay, Komal. Thank
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello, Komal.
Yes, sir.
I have one question.
Yes, sir.
Simple. What is the application of millimeter waves? Uh,
So, yes, sir.
can you tell me the frequency range of millimeter wave?
Yes, sir. The frequency range of millimeter wave is, sir, above 24 gigahertz. And sir,
Okay.
millimeter wave has been applicable. Sir, I'm talking about here 5G. So I'm talking. So like 5G is actually requiring a broader bandwidth, sir. Sir, the problem initially was we were not having a proper frequency spectrum. Okay, sir. So when we moved to actually the millimeter wave, we had a higher range of frequencies, and that help us provide us with a range of frequencies that is totally available now for the mobile communication, for the wireless communication, and sir, it will be 5G will help us to evolve, sir, in my mobile communication.
Okay.
Sir, is it okay, sir?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Any other question from judges?
Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Komal. Next is Nikita Kanchan. Next
Okay, thank you,
presenter
sir.
is Nikita. You can share your screen. Yeah. It is visible. So you can start now.
I think she's facing some technical glitch.
Yes, sir. Her voice is not coming.
That too, her presentation is also not fully screened.
Nikita,
It's gone.
so I think we have to move
Call
to.
other.
Okay, sir. Okay. Next presenter is Sammukh Rao, S. Sammukh Rao.
Sir, am I audible? Hello,
Yes, you are
sir.
very much audible.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Sir, I was sharing the screen, sir. Sir, is it visible?
Yes.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Your
Just share
home screen is visible. Share your presentation. Just open your presentation.
Sir, idea. Myself, my name is Shanpala Systems team. Sir, here I am going to start my this pandemic session due to COVID. The Education Institute offer online every educational institute use barrier to students. So e-education become part of us. So here the problems. E-education is new to many of the students. These with this with e-education, not everyone get concept clear. Means education everywhere not everyone get clear. Means is not able to get full concept in the first attempt. So those things. Are mainly taking the problems, and due to this online platform, a student must compulsory need a good internet, sir. Due to some poor internet connections, and some he or she have some illness, at that time the student may miss the class, so that time he missed the concepts. And sir, if I got with the incident, sir. For gate preparation, what friend asked me, sir. I want to read mathematics. My personally, suggest me a book. I said him B.S. Groyal, sir. But he is saying that I saw that book, but it needs some basics about mathematics, sir. So there are people, not only some little basics, sir. So for that, that thing I take into problems, sir. And even college in normal situations, without this lockdown and online studies, if we don't understand our classroom studies, means everyone get what teacher said, but some people are not unable to get what teacher said. At that time, he is used to ask his friend or some he is to say his friend what he is saying. Please explore that topic so that he can clear with doubt. So these all are considering my problems, sir. So for this, I have two solutions, sir. First solution is, sir, yes, every student not perfect in all the topics, sir. So even one student must even at least one student have one topic doubt, sir. So he is to ask some other person. Means a person have sorry, sir. He can perfect in some concepts, sir. Means he is not perfect in all the concept what teachers taught in all the semester, but he is very great in one concept. So he write note he write notes. That thing will be useful when that thing is useful for every student. So those people. So here I introduce make note that websites. In that student, the guy who wrote notes as very well, means by seeing that notes by seeing that notes everyone can understand what is the concept. So for that he need to upload that concept to our website, sir. We provide for that concept like button and comment section, sir. If in that all the students are allowed to participate in that website, sir. So every guy, every student can if he understand clear concept, he give a like and he give a like, sir. Yeah, or if he have he needs some correction or something problem with that, he mentioned in comments, sir. So at the final, in this every students are included, sir. At the final time, we collected those things, means who the concept which has more each and everyone, means best one we have to take and make a subject, sir. So we make it subject and make it topics. So that thing will be at the final time, like exam time, to all the students. So at that time, everyone can access that file and he can get clear concept about what he studied at that time, what he studied actually in that year, sir. Sir. So, sir, in exam time, some students may thought by their friends at this time they don't need anyone because that book is written by his friend. Means he is explaining, he is greatly wrote, sir. So he doesn't need any other. So if he had that book, he can read easily and he can get concept easily, sir. So another problem, sir, in this lockdown, social media become more popular, sir. Before also more popular, but in this time, lockdown time, everyone sitting home and just watching social media, and government only saying just stick it on to TV, stick it on to mobiles to stay in social media, sir. So for that, I have taken that choice, sir. Adult age people are mostly using Facebook, Instagram, and they used to watch memes, sir. So memes are my barrier, sir. So here I use those things. Many people like memes. Many people like memes and they used to enjoy, sir. For that I used this. Here I inserted one thing, sir. That means two guys chatting, sir. Means what is your favorite color? He said stop asking silly questions, and he post a sampling theorem statement, sir. What is this theorem? So she said, what is this color? Means some students, if they meme one person, if we see his one meme, not all persons may be considered, but some people are I need to know, I need to know this meme, I need to enjoy this meme, so I want to know this word meaning, this topic meaning. So he is used to go Google and search about it, so he can learn some new concept whenever he used to read in exam time. So this concept must be useful, sir. My solution is, sir, actually my solution is actually what I'm saying. In Facebook or Instagrams, memes are coming, sir. We used to our core branch, core subject keyword, something sampling frequency, antenna, those things. If we memes and make fun, they used to know what is sampling frequency. So they can get some knowledge about keywords. So with that keywords, when he used to go for book, he can understand everything. So that's thing I'm planning, sir. And thanks, sir. I think everyone is good. Sir? Hello, sir? Hello?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, any doubts about regarding this?
Any question from the judges side?
It's a small query.
Yes.
Do you understand the concept of wiki?
Wikipedia, sir.
Yeah, Wikipedia is a kind of wiki. It's a collaborative learning concept, collaborative document formation, where a
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
community gets together and write something on wiki.
Yes,
But
sir.
that
They can
particular,
put their ideas, sir.
yeah, but that
Yes.
particular thing is not declared readable, or it's not declared that it can be taken as solution or uh, referred document until unless somebody from that particular domain tick marks it. Like, okay, now it is okay. Now it is covering all the aspects. So your
Yes, sir.
solution is related to that, where a
Yes, yes.
student community is trying to work together
Yes,
to
sir.
provide some documents. Here there is a fine catch. Who is going to evaluate those notes? So
Don't
you
know, sir.
require
Yes, sir.
you require a peer review, or you require some domain experts to
Yes, sir.
suggest that no, now this is the final document or this is complete. Look, in knowledge there are two things: one is correct, other is complete, and third most important aspect is sound.
Sound.
Yeah, that okay, now
Okay.
this is sound knowledge. And Wikipedia fellows does this thing. So you can go and open a wiki page, but that would not be visible to others until unless that is evaluated and marked by some domain expert. So if
Yes,
you are
sir.
trying to do these things in your any other further work, just understand how collaborative learning platforms work. Okay, there is a learning object metadata, learning object methodology. IEEE has got standards for that. Fine. So
Okay, okay, sir.
you need to kind of expand your study to have such kind of platform. Okay.
Okay, okay, sir.
Mr. Rao,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
B.S. Tripathi. Your suggestions,
Sir.
your solutions are very interesting.
Yes, sir.
And if you can,
Yes, sir.
as suggested by one of the panelists, you can explore further in this area. Very interesting solution.
Yes, sir.
In
Therefore,
very primitive stage. Actually, you're given some more time, can do something really interesting. That's my remark on
sir,
your
they,
presentation. I don't have any question. Thank you.
hello, sir.
Yes,
Hello,
yes,
sir.
you are audible.
Sorry, sir. Getting incoming call, so I was going to disconnecting those, sir. So I am able to listen your voice, sir.
No problem.
No problem, no problem.
Uh,
Sir,
next, Yes.
We can go for the next presenter.
Okay, sir. Next presenter is Diksha Maurya. Diksha, please share your screen, share your PPTs.
Is it visible, sir? Hello.
Yes, yes.
So a very warm good evening to all the respected panelists and participants. My name is Diksha Maurya, and my topic for presentation is empowering education with augmented reality. The motivation behind this topic was that technology is the thing which attracts kids and the young people more. So why not use it for a good purpose like education? Why only for the entertainment only? And we also know that when we see the things, then we remember it more easily rather than just listening it. So with the help of this augmented reality, we can learn the complex concepts very easily. So before moving to the impact of augmented reality on education, let me brief about augmented reality. Augmented reality is basically enhanced version of digital in our day-to-day life. We can superimpose the things some visible screens in front of us using smart eyeglasses like Google Glass and all, some smart phone cameras. And we have heard this augmented reality terms when like in games like Pokemon Go. But this augmented reality has been fully exploited in the sector of gaming, but still education sector is lagging behind. So I think we should focus more on education system. For the technique used in augmented reality is that we combine real and virtual objects in the real environment and then align the real and virtual objects using video processing, image processing, etc. And then these both things are run interactively, which provides us the 3D dimension in our real time. How we can implement this augmented reality in education sectors, for which I've divided it into the 6 phases. The first phase includes that to train the teachers on this new technology. Second phase is that to create a prototype of the experience, whatever the teacher has learned, and to create the prototype of the subjects what the teacher wants to teach. And then the third phase includes that to implement his subject prototype on this technology. And the fourth phase is that we create a small set of students environment, and we try like test and trial system, like whether the teacher, whatever the teacher is teaching using this technology, whether the students are able to grasp it or not, or whether the teacher is comfortable in teaching with these technologies. And the fifth phase is that we create the experience of the whatever the feedback the students have got. Then we make some improvement. And the last and most important phase is that to teach this technology to students also, how they can learn in a better way. Advantage of using augmented reality is that it motivates learners in positive way, like if they see something happening in front of their eyes rather than just studying in books, then they will be more motivated and more curious towards it. For example, if the teacher is teaching in chemistry classes, he can just use augmented reality to show the chemical reaction which is going on in the lab. He can use that system in the class as well. For example, if the teacher wants to teach Newton's law, then he can use this augmented reality to explain this process rather than just bookish things. And it also improves, like in biology classes also, although the teacher and the students are present in the classes itself, the teacher can augmentally move to the plant and tell the students about how the photosynthesis is happening. Using the augmented reality, we can create sun, and all these processes he can explain in much better way, and there will be less distraction to the students because the students will be completely immersed in these in a virtual environment which is created in front of them. So there won't be, I think there won't be any distractions to the students also. Also, it will improve the recall and retention quality of the students, because what we do is that conventional method, reading books and learning the things, but it will but we have to revise one again and again. But using this, if we see the things, then the retention power of the students also improves. Now, coming to the importance of augmented reality in COVID era, one of the most important thing which has happened in the lockdown is that adoption of digital technology in education sector. Both the teachers and the students have adopted very well, and we were left with no choices in the lockdown. So it was expected to rise, expected to increase this class digital environment. But what happens is that this method of teaching, what we are experiencing today, is somewhat boring to the students also and to the teachers also, because the teacher is not seeing his students response, how they are giving their expressions and all. So in this example, you can see that the teacher is standing and he has created virtually environment of classroom, so that students will also get the feel of the class sitting at home also. So this augmented reality will play a major role in the education sector. Challenges about this technology is that this new technology is the teachers and also students also, they are not able to adapt or use this new technology. And for the students, some students don't have smartphones supporting this AR content. Also, the hardware cost of hardware is very high. The lack of quality content means that there are plenty of contents, and the teacher and the students both are getting confused which content will be better to teach the students, or which content will be better for more understanding. And in India also, we face the network issues, and in some rural areas still networks are not there. So these are all the hindrance in this technology, which we will definitely overcome with time. And the future scope of this augmented reality is that in 2020, what we have observed, that the demand of digital softwares for education purpose has increased immensely, and it is also expected to rise above 700 million by the year 2025. As you can see that I have also shown this stats with the help of augmented reality. If the investment in this sector will increase, then the quality of content will also get improved, and the cost of hardware will decrease, of course, because due to the mass production, and this technology will be accessible to educational institute worldwide in affordable rates, and we can consider as augmented reality as the major breakthrough in 21st century. Conclusion on with this, I would like to conclude that immersive learning enhance the learning process by adding interactive content and practice and learning by doing the things which are in front of our eyes. And also it will create some curious and it will also create creative thinking of the students will also get increased. And with this, I want to conclude that the real world and the virtual world, when they both have combined, together what we experience is that magical world, and this magical world will surely improve our uh, education system. Thank you. Any questions?
Okay, Diksha.
Diksha,
Yes, sir.
this is Mayank here.
Yes, sir. Good evening,
Have
sir.
you gone through the Google AR search engine?
Sorry, sir.
Google is providing augmented reality searches
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
nowadays.
Yes,
Have you
sir.
gone through that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So,
Sir, Google. Yes, sir.
so, and then they have listed the challenges also. So, in your opinion, what is the biggest just put aside network connectivity and all those things? Uh, you understand the device which can support AR is going to be costly. The camera is going to be costly. The image, the computing, the everything is going to be costly. Hardware is going to be costly. Put them aside. What is the another challenge which Google is facing to provide AR content in their search engine?
Sir, I think people are less friendly with this how to use this technology.
No. This is not the challenge. Miss, I have got a 12-year-old, 11-year-old daughter. Recently, somebody has gifted her a device. There is a globe over there. You just put a pointer on that globe, and then it is connected to your mobile phone, which can show you AR content about that area. I have
Yes.
given you the hint. What is the biggest challenge?
Sir, the compatibility with all devices, we can
No.
say that.
The problem is there are less fellows who are creating AR content.
Yes, sir.
You need fellows to create AR content.
Yes, sir. That is
And then it can be made available.
okay, sir.
Are you getting the point?
Yes,
So
sir. Yes.
the way another contents are getting created, it's not about only showing the AR content. It's about the devices and the techniques and the skills which are needed to create AR content. That is again a biggest issue. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Any more questions? Hello.
Okay, Diksha. Any more questions from judges side? Okay.
No,
Diksha, you
thanks.
can. Okay. Our next presenter is Aditya Paul. Aditya.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Please share your screen and start
I am sharing.
your presentation.
Slides are visible, sir. Hello. Okay. Thank you, sir. Hello. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. This is Adityapal from MTech third semester of Communication Systems from MNNIT Laval. Today is a very fortunate day as the IEEE MNNIT student branch is celebrating the IEEE day. So here I am presenting my presentation on my topic, that is wireless health monitoring system for patients. So first of all, I would like to tell why I have chosen this topic. So the answer is simple, like with the growing concern of human health and for the for convenience of medical care, the wireless health monitoring devices play a significant role here. So it is always necessary to keep monitoring the patient all health parameters, or we can say the physiological parameters. So the most important thing here is doctors can measure and observe the heartbeat, like heartbeat, body temperature, and some other physiological parameters with the help of healthcare sensors for different purposes. So, like so now so introduction, this type of system seems much helpful during the unfortunate pandemics like it's happening presently. The whole of the world, especially the health sector, is struggling a lot to cope up with this pandemic with the help of technology only. So as we require thermometers, now we require thermometer to check the patient's temperature, but we can also it can also be done by the temperature sensors. So temperature sensor and the heartbeat sensor is connected to observe the patient's condition. So here is body sensor network system can help people by providing healthcare services such as medical monitoring, memory enhancement, medical data access, communication with healthcare provider in emergency situation through SMS or GPRS. So here body sensor network, that is GSM device may be embedded inside the body as implants, maybe surface mounted on the body, or any accompanying devices which a human can carry in pocket or in hand. Like so, this is the method how how it works. The wireless health monitoring system is based on the GSM technology. Here, whatever I am presenting, that is on GSM technology. Here is the three parts of the system, that is heartbeat and temperature sensor, or we can add more health care sensor according to need. And other two parts are transmitter and receiver. That is the transmitter and receiver is for the wireless connectivity. So here is the block diagram of the system, how it works. We can see here there are two parts. One is transmitter and one is receiver side, and both are connected through GSM modem wirelessly. And heartbeat sensor and temperature sensor are connected to the transmitter side. So as you can see how it works, and mainly. You to explain this in very short to get the idea of how it works actually. Transmitter and receiver, as you can see in the block diagram, also are the main parts. In the transmitter side, the required sensor are connected to sense the health parameters. The role of microcontroller, which is used in the system, is to monitor all the system. If any abnormality in the patient conditions detected, then it sends a signal so that receiver will capture the signal and will work accordingly. Okay. So here are the advantages of this system. The very important advantage is that doctors can monitor the patient's health remotely without any physical contact. So obviously it is bridging the gap between the doctor and the patient. And for the rural areas, it would be very helpful. We can add different sensors for different purposes. So it's a multi-purpose system for health monitoring. and obviously it's very easy to operate, and so there are some advantages. Now the future scope. So future scope some more parameters like blood pressure, retinal size, glucose monitoring, neural recording, age, weight detection, and all. It can be included as controlling parameters. And this system can also be developed by the GSM is very old technology, but you can also use the new coming technology like advanced GSM, LTE for 4G, WiMAX, and mmWave technology, which are going to be used in 5G. So here is the conclusion. For the next generation, this wireless GSM technology is emerging as a significant element. It is portable and easy to use, and of course, we all have heard this phrase that is, prevention is better than cure. So yeah, modern technologies have developed that promotes comfortable and better life. In this pandemic situation, it is proved to be helpful, and in future too, during any pandemic like coronavirus, this will play a crucial role here. So I also want to say science is still developing and growing up to save human lives. With the help of such systems, we can ensure a better scenario for our life than ever. Thank you. This all from my side.
Thank you, Aditya. You are MTech student
Yes, sir.
in MNIT?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Which department?
Sir, Electronics and Communication Department.
Have you seen some past PhDs last 2-3 years?
Sir, past, sorry, sir.
In last 2-3 years, some PhDs have been done. Some good works have been done.
Yes, sir.
I think Shashwat is here. Shashwat is here or not? No.
Yes, sir, I am here. Good evening, sir.
I am not able to find any new path-breaking thing in this presentation.
Yes, sir.
Maybe you can.
Yes, sir. Presentation is too vague and needs lot of clarity. First thing about the type of sensors, then again type of networks and how these networkings can be interlinked together.
Not to dishearten you, Aditya.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
but
sir.
when you are doing some work, and I hope you would be working in this area later
Yes,
on,
sir.
you have
Yes,
to
sir.
have deep study of the things. These are very, traditionally
Yes, sir.
these things are getting done from last 10 years. Right?
Yes, yes,
In
sir.
your department itself, one or two works which I know in PhD, some good
Yes, sir.
works have been done.
Okay, sir.
So you need to review those work, what they have
Yes,
already
sir.
done, and then
Yes,
try
sir.
to have some delta X improvement upon them. Just a suggestion to you. Otherwise, your
Absolutely.
presentation was really superficial.
Thank you, sir.
I don't have any more questions.
So, can you give, sir, VST, sir? Sir?
Nikita is waiting. I've seen the chat
Yes.
messages. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Nikita, please.
Okay, thank you, sir.
I think nothing is audible. Hello.
Nikita? Nikita, your voice is not coming. I think she again have same problem. Nikita? She is asking for few seconds.
I think we can call somebody else. Huh. Let her solve her problem.
Nikita, please remove your presentation. Keshav Mathur.
Yes,
Keshav.
am I audible, sir?
Yes, Keshav.
Sir, Nikita's screen is still sharing.
Okay.
I think
Yes.
Keshav has already presented his presentation.
Actually, sir, he just presented 3 slides, and after that, his voice was also not coming.
Okay. So he may be given the chance. Okay, sure.
Yes.
Right.
Sir, is my screen visible, sir? Hello?
Yeah, your screen is visible. You can start from the third slide.
Okay, I'll start from the third slide.
The
then, sir.
motivation is already clear to us that what you are trying to do. What is your possible solution? Just tell us.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, delay in the in the emergency services. Emergency services like ambulance, fire brigade, and police vehicles are often delayed in traffic. According to Times of India, 30% deaths are caused by ambulance delay, and
I
more
think
than
you
50.
can skip this. You have covered this.
Okay, sir. So, shall I start from this slide?
Yeah.
Solution?
Solution. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. The simple solution that I have in my mind and that I have researched about are movable dividers. Dividers are the blocks that divides the road in left and right moving traffic. In cities where traffic is commonly congested at certain hours of the day, like in the morning, where office going people are congested on one side of the road than the other, the movable dividers can be used. Now, as we can see from the diagram that I have made, from the first figure, the central divider, we can see that the transparent black line is the divider. Now on the left side of the road, even only with 2 cars, the ambulance is congested and cannot move through. Whereas when we use the movable divider, we can see that even with 3 cars, the ambulance has a free way to move and can come out of the traffic. Now the road or path which is most congested in the morning or congested in the other way can be used here. Movable dividers will simply move along a section of the road to expand in one way and move while narrowing the other on specific hours. Now to implement this on a technical base, high-powered motors can be used to move the dividers like motor-controlled gates in shops and offices, or like we see in lifts. Use of sensors can also be employed to automatically perform the moving task as required. Now, I end my presentation with the simple phrase, necessity is the mother of invention, and smooth traffic is the necessity, movable dividers being the solution. Thank you. Any questions from the judges are most welcome.
The idea looks okay, fine, but
Yes,
it requires a lot of history and data to be collected
Okay,
on a
sir.
particular segment of a road or a particular crossing in a city.
Sir.
What is the traffic pattern? Fine. At what time of day the traffic pattern is what?
Yes,
You
sir.
need to collect this data.
Yes, sir.
And
I have a probable solution for that. Sir, can I talk about that, please?
guide your movement of these dividers. Fine.
Yes, sir.
Another thing is, it's just like if your road is already congested,
Yes, sir.
then you cannot move the dividers even.
Yes, sir.
So you
sir,
have to be you have to take a priori decisions,
yes, sir.
and then you need to look for the false positives also. The
Yes,
idea
sir.
looks okay, but it requires a lot of data and true data, ground truth.
Yeah.
That is my suggestion.
Sir, can I please take a minute to explain?
Yeah.
I have got some solution for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. Sir, about the thing that you said that we need data. I've read on some IEEE papers that people are doing research on this. That hello.
Carry on.
Yes, sir. So people are the many scientists are doing what they are doing is that they are using image processing with MATLAB to find out the density, to find out the vehicle density in an area. So what they have thought is that they can perform this.
Forget about that. We have done this work in this Kumbh Mela. Okay.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. The same solution we can use it, sir.
Forget about the research. These particular things have already been done in this Kumbh Mela using image processing and video analytics. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And
So
then
can
your
be used, sir.
solution becomes viable. Okay.
Yes, sir. Sir, I have one more thing to share. Please, can I? Yes, sir. The thing that you said about the movable dividers, we can use load cells. Load cells are basically the sensors which can use ports and convert them to electrical signals to identify whether there is a heavy traffic.
प्रेशर सेंसर लगा के करेगा ना.
Yes, sir. So
रोड के ऊपर. ये उज्जैन
so
के कुंभ मेला में हुआ था.
Yes, sir.
ये फेल हो गया था, लेकिन फेल हो गया था.
Keshav, we are already out of time. Keshav.
Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Keshav, I have one question.
Yes, sir.
See, a divider is
yes, sir.
100 kg. 100 kg or more than 100 kg item can be moved so frequently. It is, have you seen anything of this regarding this solution?
Thank you for the question, sir. Sir, yes, I have seen, sir. Sir, in China, they have started doing some removable dividers with this thing. So, with that same concept, what they do is that.
Means divider itself is if divider itself is made up of fiber or something, some light material, then it is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Our normal dividers are not that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Keshav.
So,
Thank you,
Keshav, I have one question.
Yes, sir.
As I mentioned that you are strategizing this thing for this traffic engineering, you are moving
sir.
the devices, okay, which is itself a very hefty task. So, what about if you spread the awareness, you put your sensors, you put your money, because in traffic engineering, this cost component is also a very major factor.
Yes, sir.
Apart
Agreed, sir.
from all the dynamics, and you are keeping all the divider line in a very dynamic frame. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So there could be another strategy where you simply block the ends. Like there is a forward traffic moving, and at the forward moving point, you block that lane, and
Yes,
there is awareness that now nobody can change. So automatically, the lane in which this ambulance will be stuck, that will
Yes, sir.
be in a motion.
Yes, sir.
That will be a far better way, because then you don't have to shift all the divider line. You simply
sir.
have to block 2 or 3. Just if you are talking about 3 lanes, so there will
Yes, sir.
be 2 lanes. They will be blocked simply, and there will be awareness, some kind of LED segment running over road, and telling
Yes,
people
sir.
that now you cannot change your lanes. So in the lane where this ambulance is there, that
Yes,
will be
sir.
moving and ambulance can get out easily.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the question, sir. Can I respond, sir?
Sure.
I
Sir, of
think
course.
let him think about the responses, and Shashwat or Miss, you can discuss with me also, Keshav. Fine.
Sure, sir.
Later on, and let others give some chance. Okay, to speak.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, judges, for giving us your precious time. Now I want to invite Piyush to present vote of thanks. Piyush.
Thank you, sir. Good evening to all of you. It is my privilege to get an opportunity to extend a vote of thanks on behalf of IEEE MNNIT
Piyush.
student branch.
Piyush.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Yes, sir.
That Nikita is requesting. I don't know. एक बार और ट्राई कर लें, क्योंकि जब सबका सुना है तो उसका भी सुन लें, ठीक है? उसका चैट मैसेज आया है, ठीक है? क्यों क्यों वीएस त्रिपाठी सर, मैं ठीक कह रहा हूँ?
गुड इवनिंग सर.
या निकिता, अब तुम्हारी आवाज आ रही है. नाउ यू कैन शेयर एंड स्पीक क्विकली. ओके?
यस सर, यस सर. Sir, I'm really sorry. I was also not aware about the technical glitch.
Don't worry.
No problem. No problem.
Yes,
slides are visible. You can speak.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nikita Kanchan, and I am from AMTIC Communication System from MNNIT ECE department. I am going to present on the topic Artificial Intelligence Powered Education for a Better Tomorrow. My main focus is on the education system, how it is getting developed with the help of artificial intelligence in the era of COVID and after the era of COVID. First of all, I want to focus on artificial intelligence. What is exactly artificial intelligence? Online education is the new trend. Smart AI-powered education is the future. Artificial intelligence is made up of two words, artificial and intelligence. As we know, artificial is something which is not natural or anything that is made by human beings. Whereas intelligence is the ability to understand, think, and learn. Our goal of AI is to mimic the human brain and create systems that can function intelligently and independently. Like in earlier days, everyone used to think like artificial intelligence or is only about machines exhibiting human-like characteristics, but it is much more than that. Artificial intelligence has various tasks like smartphones to navigate around the world, Amazon Go stores, and much more. I want to give some real-life examples, which is like going on in other countries. I want to give example of China. In classrooms of China, they are using headbands. Headbands is there for students to check the level of concentration. Actually, these headbands show the color. Like if the student is focused, they will show the color is red. If the student is not focused, it will be visible as white. There are robots which analyze the student health. These are all applications which are going on in the scenario. So AI has powered education with a great boom. Now I want to tell you what is the role of AI in the education system. AI has personalized learning. Like earlier, students were not very much comfortable with online education system which is going on now. We were not like, if the teacher is available, we will be able to do the learning. Now the lectures are being recorded and we can still see if we were not able to catch something during the class. we can revise, and a student can control their study time with this help of AI coming in the education. During education, we are using Zooms, Google Meet, all these features, and there are many virtual educational platforms which BioJuice is offering to the students in the time of COVID. Moreover, AI has transformed education for better user experience and effective learning. I want to stress upon the parameters which is here helping AI in the education system. Auto grading for correctness and promptness. In traditional academic setup, most of the teachers' times was consumed in grading assignments and classworks to their student. But now auto grading has come up, which is helping uh, through AI and ML algorithms to faster the work and minimize the time of the teachers, so they can allow teachers to teach their students effectively and will ensure fair grading based on their performances. The second thing which I want to stress on is the asynchronous learning sessions with AI. As millions of students we know are studying from home, and sometimes it becomes difficult for students to attend the synchronous classes due to some reason. But due to the advancement, we can now see the lectures according to our wish. And AI technology has employed to offer personalized instructions to the students who are unable to attend or follow live sessions with teachers. There are various applications on software which have came up. I want to name them, like Amira. Amira is aiding students to transition from conventional classrooms learning to remote learning. Second software is TechKit. TechKit. It is the online skill and career development software, which is helping us as a student to learn. Am I audible, sir? Hello?
Much audible, but your slides are not visible, but no problem. You keep on speaking.
Sir, my slides are visible. Okay. 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 The third parameter which I want to stress is the performance tracking with artificial intelligence. Like nowadays, chatbots are there through which we can get personalized and feedback driven platforms. Adaptive learning has come up. Technologies can extensively track performance of the student, and there are various smart ways which are coming up to track the performance of the student. Fourth point which I want to stress is learning from smart content. This is really a boon for us all. Sometimes learning is very much boring. It is very much boring, but it is important and essential for the growth, as we all know. So now flashcards, practice tests, self-assessments, simulation games, and interactive sessions have come up to learn and develop the students. Smart content creation is a tough job, but AI powered interfaces made it easy and effective for efficient learning. Now, the last point which I want to stress is on online boot camps, practical learning through the online boot camps. There are various people who got confused about online learning and the boot camps which are being offered. Online learning can be a self-paced learning, but the boot camps which are being offered are very much making a person in professional way. Like we are getting the trained designer or professional in a matter of few weeks, having a valid knowledge and skill set. Now I want to conclude about AI-powered education in a way. We may want to believe that softwares won't replace teachers. Teachers will always be there to guide us and help us. But AI-powered education interfaces can assist teachers with their jobs and make it more productive. The ongoing trend is here to stay. The pandemic is an opportunity for us to experiment and deploy new technologies to make education meaningful and delightful experience for learners. I want to say education can bring, at the last, I want to say that education can bring the desired change in the future. If you want to shape the future shape, the education system should be changed accordingly and adapt the new technology which AI is offering. Thank you, sir. So please ask questions. Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, Nikita, you are audible.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Hello? Yes, sir. Sir, there is some disturbance.
Your voice is breaking, Saurabh.
Saurabh, you can type your question in chat box so any other person can ask that question to Nikita.
Yeah, that would be a good. Okay. Meanwhile, there is a small question from my side. Nikita, we could not see your slides. So your presentation was like half coming to us. There are 2 or 3 or 4 issues which we are facing because as a teacher, when we talk about pedagogy, there are 3 aspects. Teaching from the teacher's perspective, learning from the student's perspective, and evaluation for the academic requirement perspective. So just ponder about this. Suppose in this particular meeting, there are how much? 25 fellows. How can you check or how these Cisco's and Microsofts and Zooms are trying? How can you just check that out of these 25, how many have minimized this window and actually doing something else instead of listening to your lecture? This is one thing. Microsoft, Cisco, Zoom, Google, all are trying to do this. If you have done some research and you know about that, just tell. And another thing is how we can safely conduct proctored examination on online mode. Proctored examination means if somebody is, there is a lot of research going on in image processing and video processing, and that to a cheap solution which is available on mobile because 70%, 60% of the student connect to the classes using mobile phones. I'm not talking about engineering students. I'm talking about general students, school going students and all that.
Yes, sir. Sir, first question you asked, like how can I monitor about all the members if they are listening my lecture which I'm giving or not? The first way, which is video conferencing.
Video is a costly solution.
Oh.
Video is costly. You cannot ask all the 100 students to switch on their video because that will eat a lot of bandwidth. So that is out of question.
Sir, another thing is like I read somewhere about like in China, they are using some chips to monitor the students when they come in school. Like they are
Forget
using.
about the school. Talk about right now.
Okay, sir.
In these times.
Sir, maybe I have not read, but what I can think as of now, there can be AI algorithms, AI and ML.
I'll tell you, Nikita, people keep on doing and thinking about AI, and if they forget about their own intelligence. So there are certain solutions which don't require AI, they just require computational intelligence. If somebody
Rightly said,
minimizes
sir.
your, yeah, Shashwat, am I right?
Hmm.
Yes,
Definitely, sir.
one.
Definitely.
So you can use operating system which is running your application to know the activity of that application. Fine, whether that is minimized, whether another windows are open, fine, whether some another applications are running, that can be done not by AI. So, and the similar thing what I have experienced, people worry about analytics in image. 99% of the things are image processing actually instead of analytics and AI. Fine. So when we are doing any work related to AI, first of all, we should have to think that what normal intelligence can do, and then we should think about AI. Fine. Anyway, Cisco has in your WebEx only the solution is there. There is another way of conducting meeting known as WebEx events, where if a student is not listening to your lecture, the notification will come to the host. Cisco has done that. Microsoft is trying to do that, not by AI, by normal intelligence. Anyways, I'm done with my comments.
Okay, sir.
Nikita, I have very small additions to sir's comment. Actually, they may be the sub parts of his comments, because we are discussing this AI for education. So right now, the more discussion should be imparting skills, because there is a lot of difference between skill and education. As sir has already mentioned, that there is a clear pedagogy that you have to evaluate the learnings in education. So if you are interested in learning a skill, it's good. And when it comes to evaluation of the learning, then there are a lot of loopholes, and still the present situation, the most practical solutions, they come from our own word, through our own intelligence, like open book examinations and other. They are the best methods devised till yet. And in the pandemic also, there has been many reported literatures. They are telling that these for evaluation purpose, this open book examination and other things are still the best solution we have.
Yes, sir. Sir, it's not actually a human versus AI. It is a combination of both. What I feel is like a lot of time is getting wasted in assignment evaluation, which can be used by a teacher for the effective learning, and that things can be evaluated by the tools, automated tools of the AI. It's kind of mutual work.
Nikita, if there is a programming class, fine, and you have given programming assignment, and I'll give you 10 assignments which all are copied, but still by seeing those assignments will not be able to judge, because the variable names are changed, the function orders are changed, still they are copied. So
Yes, sir.
it is not that trivial the way we assume the things to be.
Yes, sir. Obviously, we cannot replace humans by
Yeah,
artificial
it's
intelligence.
not that trivial. Fine.
Yes.
Yeah. So we need to think about our own intelligence and try to convert that intelligence into computational intelligence. When computational intelligence has got its limit, then comes artificial intelligence. You got my point? Fine.
Yes, sir.
Anyways, sir, I'm done with this. Tripathi sir, I'm done.
Nikita, what question was asked by Mr. Saurabh? Are you listening?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is about what are the limitations of AI, artificial intelligence.
Okay, sir. Sir, limitations of AI is like we cannot completely depend on the robot or the automated tools to do the work. we always need someone to take the hold. Also, the algorithms like AI algorithms and ML algorithms sometimes are not easy. Like, not most of the times it is easy to develop for the particular case. That
Nikita, can I just add to your answer?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
At a certain point of time in developing any ML or AI algorithm, you have to take help of probability. Fine. So you will take decision with certain probability to go to right or to go to left. Fine. And that probability is not having support of the experience.
Yes,
Fine.
sir.
Which human being can have. Fine. If you have a Google car which is going on a straight line, and if there is a pit, so Google has to think, what should I go to right or should I go to left? But as human being, I know while going towards Old Kant, there is a huge pit on the road. I have visited two or three twice or thrice. I know I should go via left to avoid that pit. Fine.
Yes, sir.
So ML, AI, and then the thing which I'm telling is deep learning.
Yes,
That
sir.
you are adding experiences, the past experiences with the ground truth to get a new truth, to get a new knowledge. That is what and here the limitation is of computation. People keep on talking about neural networks, CNN, convolutional neural network, but at the end of the day they require hell lot of computing power to analyze all type of possibilities and then to choose one. That is the limitation of AI, and we are still, and that's why
Yes,
people
sir.
are talking about quantum computers, DNA computers, where we can have infinite amount of computing power, and we should not be dependent upon Amdahl's law only. Fine. So here the things are moving toward. Anyway, this is my just
Yes,
comment.
sir.
Yeah.
Sir, the most important limitation which I got it is it cannot think by its own. Like
Yeah,
human mind
no,
is involved.
no. AI computer can think by its own. You are wrong.
No, I mean there is always a required supervision.
Now, there
Like
is unsupervised learning also, Nikita. There is unsupervised also. AI computer can learn, can think, but AI computer cannot have intuitions. That is the limitation.
yes, sir.
The
Emotional.
intuition word, not emotion, intuition. Like a doctor sees the symptom of malaria, but there is an intuition. Yeah, typhoid to nahi hai. And that intuition
Yes, sir.
comes from the experience. So that intuition, artificial intuition, is still people are working and they are not able to get that. Fine. You can read literature regarding artificial intuition also. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure,
Okay.
sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir, and thank you, Nikita.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
It's now time for the vote of thanks. So,
I think
we
Piyush,
will-
in parallel, we can have this photo session also with along with your vote of thanks. May I
Yes, sir.
request all the participants and all the panelists to unmute their videos, and we can go for photo sessions along with this vote of thanks, because we are already at about 9 p.m. Now, Piyush, please go
Good
for
evening to all of you. It is my privilege to get an opportunity to extend a vote of thanks. On behalf of IEEE MNNIT student branch, I convey my extreme thankfulness to our Honorable Director, Professor Rajiv Tripathi sir, who has given his consent and blessing to organize this competition. Now, I would like to say thanks to all our juries. Dr. Prabhakar Tiwari is Associate Professor in Madan Mohan Malviya University. of Technology, Gorakhpur. He is senior IEEE member and chairman of IEEE Program Committee. Dr. Anand Sharma sir is assistant professor in ECE Department of MNNIT Allahabad. Dr. Mayank Pandey sir is associate professor in Computer Science Department in MNNIT Allahabad. He is also counselor of IEEE MNNIT student branch and resource person for this event. Dr. Saswat Pathak sir is managing director of Electro Curitech Private Limited. He is also alumni of our institute. Dr. V.S. Tripathi sir, he is professor in ECE department in MNNIT Allahabad. He is currently serving as advisor of MTT and APS Society. I now thanks to all participants for their patience and cooperation. IEEE is a professional society for you and by you. It is your support that keep us motivated and energized. Moreover, my sincere thanks to IEEE MNNIT student branch and Cisco Webex Meet for providing their platform. A special thanks is due to volunteer Dr. Nan Kishore, Vikrant Varsne, Pratik Raj, Saurabh Raj, Diksha, Aditya Pal, Kumar Mohit, and Vivek Rajput. These volunteers work very hard to make this event a success. Last but not the least, we thank the Almighty God for enlightening the path of wisdom. Thank you, sir. Thank you all. So, hello.
Thank you, Piyush.
Yeah, Piyush, can we leave now?
Yes, sir. Sir, okay.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
I think the session was due.
Yes, sir. All participants have not turned on his camera. Please, all participants turn on your cameras so we can take a screenshot of this. Okay, thank you all.
Tripathi sir, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
sir.
to everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir.